This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Not only have I been the owner of Mint Mobile for the last few years, I've also been a customer. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Selling a little or a lot? Do your thing however you cha-ching with Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/offer23.
Empowered and Unapologetic is part of the Practice of the Practice Podcast Network, a family of podcasts that change the world. To hear other podcasts like the Bomb Mom Podcast, Beta Male Revolution, or Imperfect Thriving, go to practiceofthepractice.com/network. Have you ever thought, how did I manage to lose myself? Being a mom is so hard, especially when we're feeling stressed and disconnected. We exhaust ourselves trying to create this perfect life for our family. You deserve to enjoy your marriage and your kids without the stress perfectionism brings. I am going to teach you how to identify who you are outside of all of the roles you play. Hi, I'm Veronica Cisneros. I'm a wife, mother of 3, and a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am on a mission to teach women just like you how to become empowered and unapologetic. Welcome to our Girl Gang. I am a 40-year-old woman of 3 boys who runs a machine shop in Southern California. I am very artistic. I play several musical instruments and love to draw and paint. I've been with my husband for 9 years. We're an awesome couple who supports and encourages each other in our own individual personal growth. Music, family, and creativity get me energized. I am a go-getter that doesn't stop until I get my goals or surpass them. My codependency issues are what started me down this path of seeking to be empowered and unapologetic. Family and friends always seem to come to me for help or advice, so it was easy to fall into that role. After being in the group for over a year, I'm starting to feel and be my true authentic self. Ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, this episode means a lot to me. Here's why. She's a dear friend of mine, and in addition to that, she trusted me to take her on this new path of self-discovery. I'm not going to lie, I challenged her like no other, and she was up for it every single time. She was focused, she worked hard, and I'm proud to say she recently graduated from our VIP group. So please help me by welcoming Alejandra Urbanovsky. Ladies, grab a pen and paper because it's about to get real, and you're going to want to take notes. Hey, Alex. So first things first, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, your kids, your story.
I'm Alex. I have 3 boys, 21, 9, and 5. I am a general manager for a machine shop in Southern California. And that's about it. I mean, I have a son who I have adopted and raised since he was 2 years old. And my other 2 boys are with me as well. And my husband has adopted those boys. And so we are a majorly blended family, non-traditional in almost all of the senses. So, but we're very cohesive, and it's like, like any other normal family, I believe.
I like how you said a non-traditional. What did you say? Like, it's kind of like a next level blended family.
Yeah. 2 baby mamas, 2 baby daddies. So nice. It's a very, very, very different. So
absolutely. So your request today was finding balance because of extreme behaviors.
Right.
Can you give me a little bit more details? Please explain.
I tend to go full bore in my exercise and my diets. And if I fall off the wagon, I tend to really just like grab a burrito.
Yeah.
And just say, screw it. I'll start again whenever, so, or I just, continue to just eat however, or not exercise. So I'm always like full bore or 0. So really, in joining the group, I'm trying to find my balance and be able to allow myself to, if I mess up today, I can get back at it tomorrow. Why am I waiting, until Monday? Or, I always have to have like a set deadline or a set time to start. And so through the group, I've really given myself some grace and just continued on my journey and not really stuck to the rules that I set for myself.
Absolutely. So one thing that pops up for me is you mentioned like complete extreme behavior, right? I'm either all in or I'm not.
Right.
And being able to go ahead and if I'm not all in, well, then I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Tell me a time when you felt like you were experiencing some level of success.
When we were doing the P90X, right before I was about to get divorced from my ex-husband, I was like on day 80. And then my marriage just went down the tubes. So I didn't get to finish my 90 days. And so it was like, not only was I losing my marriage, but I was also losing the 80 days I already invested into P90X. But I felt like, I invested all this time and effort. I had lost 54 pounds, but my marriage was more important to try to save.
Absolutely.
So I just kind of put that on the back burner, and I actually didn't go back to complete it until 2 years later. And I completed it twice. So So when I did, I was really super proud of myself. But in between times, I had also started it up again and, maybe got to like day 20 or day 30. And then it's always something like something is more important for me to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get discouraged with that because I'm like, why can't I just put myself first,
Yeah.
And so, the last few times that I've done P90X, I gave myself grace, and I was really proud of myself because I just was like, I'm not going to start this cycle all over again because then I feel like I'm failing. I can continue on. There is no rule. Like I'm not on day 1 again. Like I'm on day 22, even though there's been 4 days in between our last session,
Yeah.
So it's really helped with my sense of not feeling like a failure. It's not failing. It's only failing if I completely stop. So it's just changing my mindset on what I deem as success.
How did you get there where you started to shift your mindset?
Funnily enough, it was another extreme behavior. It was, I was like, you know what, I'm going to exercise and I'm going to do this and I'm going to stop drinking and blah, 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 just do the whole healthy thing. And so I was doing that and I just completely, I was like, okay, full on health mode, let's just go for this. And, so I quit drinking, was eating healthy, like, I was like, I'm going to do this for 60 days. Again, another time limit, right? And my husband came back from traveling and it was at my 55-day mark. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine.
Because I need to celebrate. Duh. I need to celebrate the success.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine. And I'm 5 days away from completing my 60 days, but this is going to be like somewhat of like allowing myself to not hit a deadline, but be proud of myself for the 55 days of clean eating. You know what I mean? So it was like, I started to feel like it doesn't matter. There's no deadline. You can live life. You don't have to be extreme. You don't have to quit 100%. You don't have to, so all of these things that, I'm allowing myself, like I'm giving myself permission and really that's just what is helping me to find my balance, and I don't have to do anything I don't want to, and I can enjoy what I do. So I can go for a walk. I can jump on the treadmill. I can walk the dog, and really, back in December, I started doing jujitsu. Mm-hmm. And I had 100% convinced myself that I did not want to do jujitsu. Before I even started, I'm like, this was an idea that you had, you big dummy. And I was like, no, boxing's going to be funner. Like, I have to go to boxing. Boxing's what I know. And I always tend to go back to the comfort of what I've already tried. So when I went to go watch jujitsu, before I joined, I felt like a sense of family there. Like I was watching them and everybody was so encouraging. And the other part of it was, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't expect to be perfect here. And it gave me, again, like another sense of comfort where there was no pressure at all. And so to me, I found that to be just like a home. So the following week, I think, or maybe that like a day later, I went back and they had like gis for you to borrow. And I jumped right in. Like I did all the moves and, struggled with a lot of things. And I had a freaking great time. It was awesome.
So there was a shift from your extremes to this change in mindset. How did that happen? Where did that come from?
Internally. I think it's just allowing myself, giving myself permission to just not have to be perfect.
Did you just, I guess I'm asking more of like, did you just wake up one day and be like, you know what? I don't have to be perfect. And so I'm going to shift my mindset. Like, how did that happen?
Well, it's been at least a year of being in the group. Be Empowered and Unapologetic, I think, started in February. And I felt like, after months of doing the work in the group, doing the challenges, really just pushing myself out of my comfort zone on various levels, both physically and mentally. Like,
sorry, not sorry.
yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot. Really, just being challenged in different ways. Like I'm used to task-based challenge. And you see the accomplishment, you get the check mark, you move on. Well, this is a lengthy process. You go forward, you go back, and I feel like it really did show me that the only person that I can control is myself. And so ultimately it gives you a sense of freedom to where, anything that happens, you're now disappointed in yourself. And you're like, oh, but I can change this. The next time this happens, this is what I can do to change the way that I react to the situation. So I don't know. It's been extremely freeing. So even though there was some slide backs.
Absolutely. I remember you had won one of the challenges. And one of the prizes was a free coaching call. And so we had that coaching call. And I remember having a discussion with you about codependency and, what that was like for you and, wanting to go ahead and provide all of these answers for everybody, and I think it's not necessarily only like the dieting and the eating and the exercise and, that fear of failure. I've noticed it with relationships, right? And then, in addition to that, your friendships and, we talked about, your past with your past marriage and your current marriage. And it was like, okay, wait a minute. I need to stop this extreme behavior because I'm trying to rescue everyone and I'm drowning at the same time.
Right.
Right. And then it was through one of our conversations that it was like, okay, wait a minute. Because I had just started Empowered and Unapologetic. And so I knew I needed to start it, but I didn't know what everybody needed. And it was through our discussion and then talking to other people. It was like, okay, we need to do a retreat. I have to get all of these women together and we need to go ahead and go deeper. And then from there, we launched the VIP group. And the reason why I launched the VIP group was because of you. And there were a couple other women that were like, okay, wait a minute. How do we continue to implement this? And just kind of watching your growth, watching you shift in, okay, I don't need to be attached or imprisoned by the checklist. I don't need to be imprisoned by, trying to go ahead and find extreme success. I can find success in the steps that I take towards the life I want to live.
Little wins.
Bingo.
Yeah, little wins.
Tell me more about that.
I started to be able to recognize my own behaviors like when it was happening. So don't get me wrong. It was such a struggle. I was floundering because I was in uncharted territory. I'm like, if I give advice, I'm in my zone. Like I know that. But when I'm trying to be the listener and I don't have to give feedback. It was awkward as hell at first, and I'm trying to find my new footing, trying to be a better friend, be a better cousin, be a better wife, all those roles that I play and understand really what the other person is looking for. From me, really. Maybe they just had a hard day and they don't necessarily need me to fix them. So, I could just be an ear and understanding that being an ear doesn't mean that you're not engaging with the person. You don't have to do anything really. And it doesn't mean you're a bad friend and it doesn't mean you're, bad anything. It's just, you're there as supporting them. So that's a different type of good friend, a good, good cousin, good sister, everything.
Hey ladies, are you loving this episode? Because if you are, share it with your friends. In addition to that, I want to personally invite you into my private Facebook group, Empowered and Unapologetic. On this page, I want you to post What was your favorite episode? What lessons have you learned? And what was your greatest takeaway? On there, it's an interactive page where you find women just like you, learning and growing. So one thing I noticed for myself, and I'm not sure if you can relate, I noticed I would give all of the advice to everyone and even cling on to one person. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I would cling on to one person because I needed to fix them. And they could only rely on me because I was the chosen one and I was the one who had all of the answers. And I was going to tell them how they were doing their life wrong and how to go ahead and take the steps towards success, towards living their life of freedom. And the other thing I would do is at work, in my business, I would go ahead and take on a bazillion tasks because I needed that. I didn't know at the time, but I needed that validation. I needed that check. How you phrased it, the check in the box. And looking back now, I realized I was avoiding and I was trying to distract myself as much as possible. Because if anybody was to just say, girl, stop, then that would mean I would have to sit in the pain. I would have to actually look at the things that I was attempting to avoid.
Yeah, my mom for years told me, she was like, oh, just telling your children, that, oh, be careful, you're going to get hurt there, and trying to give them the answers to the test, as she said, it doesn't help. She was like, you have to get hurt. You have to get burned by the fire. You have to get a cut in order for you to understand that there's danger there. And offering all the knowledge to anybody is unfortunately, it's not helpful. We all have to experience our own hurt, And, a good friend of mine told me when I was giving her advice, she was like, hey, you drove me away when you did that. And I'm like, I really took that to heart because I was like, I was just trying to help you, But she's always been super honest with me, and I take her honesty to heart because, she's well-intentioned. Yeah. Even though that stung, because I was like, oh my God, I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to do that to you. I didn't realize, and that really did help me to shift my mindset, to where I was like, oh, if I don't tell people this experience, it's still going to happen, so yes. It's okay. They will learn and that's okay, too.
That's the part though. And that's also what's led you to the extreme behaviors, which we're currently working on too. I have to be able to go ahead and sit with somebody in their pain.
Yeah.
And
which is tough.
Bingo. And not rescue them. And the other part is I can no longer be somebody's hero. I remember when we had that conversation and kind of just bringing it all together with regards to your extreme behaviors and feeling as if there has to be something. You have to do something and take it to the next level. But it has to be done in X, Y, and Z with this timeline on this date. And if I don't, well, then I go from one extreme to the other. I say, screw it. I'm not going to do anything at all. I'll do it Monday.
Yep, 100%. I mean, I could see my codependency shifting. My son, we had a great relationship when he moved back because I felt a sense of relief. He's an adult now. I don't have to protect him. I don't have to do anything for him. He's here because he wants to be here. It's a no pressure situation. Then all of a sudden I could feel myself going back to that, going back to mom. And, but this time it was different because I told him, this is what mom is going through. Yes. So I hope you understand, scars and all, I've been through some pretty traumatic crap with your dad, and you went through it with me. And so I want you to know that these are the things that I'm currently struggling with. So that way, if you see me doing this, or if I'm doing it to you, just call me out. I'm very open for you to tell me that I'm doing these things and I'm not trying to. So don't think like this is disrespectful or anything like that, because he's a very respectful young man. So, and we've gotten into some, heated conversations. We've also gotten into some really good conversations. Like, I missed that Zoom call for the VIP group to have like a 3-hour beautiful conversation with my son. It was really awesome because, we really just dug deep into a lot of the things that were just underlying underneath the surface, and we didn't yell, we didn't scream, we didn't cry, it was like just a normal adult conversation. So I'm enjoying the transition, the sense of freedom that I'm getting from letting go.
Yes. And I have to say, kind of like, I'm not going to press stop, but I have to say, I'm so proud of you, because just watching your transition, remembering your first coaching call to where you were at. And it's like, no, Veronica, you don't understand. Like, I am the one.
The question you asked me, who do you control? And I'm like, my kids.
Girl, you gave me a list.
The list was long. Now, who do I control? Just me.
Bingo. But just kind of seeing it, like where you were then to where you are now. And, back then, I don't think this conversation with your son would have gone down that way. It would have been like, okay, this is what you need to do. And you don't understand. I'm protecting you. Right.
Yes.
And so,
I had a list of things for him. I'm like, this is what you need to do, son, and I'm putting that pressure. And this is one of the questions you had asked me before, is like, how's the pressure on you translate to the people that you're, delegating these tasks to? And I was like, oh yes, I know, because I have this sense of urgency for my son, and I'm like, why am I doing this to him? Like, I can't figure out what the word is, because I don't have this in my vocabulary yet, but when you say, okay, I'm going to let you do this, I don't know how to say this, I don't know what it is. I told my son, I said, you set your goals, you set your timelines, talk to me about them, and I didn't say, and I need to know by next week, none of that.
At 5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock. Even though I was so tempted, I'm like, okay, so have you worked on this? I'm like, oh, just leave it alone. Mm-hmm. Leave it alone.
And that's okay. So bringing it all together, how do you do that? How do you let go? And so your request for this coaching call was, I want to let go of this extreme behavior. I want to go ahead and find balance. And, balance is interesting, because we can find balance in the midst of chaos. And it's not necessarily, it's always going to be there like 80-20 or, 40-60 or whatever.
Right.
And in so many ways, that might be your balance.
I have almost come to that conclusion. I feel like I'm almost there, like to where I don't know. I'm just allowing myself to be free to choose to do whatever I need to do for that time space, because my life fluctuates with work. And sometimes when I come home, I'm so drained and I can't meal prep, and I can't, go for the walk because I have to go shopping and cook and, do all these other things. And so maybe not today, but tomorrow's okay, and to me, that balance is just really what's going on in your life at that time. Sometimes it's, being at the hospital with someone. There's always something that takes you away from what you want to do. But if you really want to do something, you can find the time. So
yes.
So that's really just it right now, and where I'm trying to find my balance, and just allow myself to be, I don't have to be the marathon runner.
No. So you're giving yourself permission to not be all of those things. Now I'm going to challenge you, because it wouldn't be
That's
a coaching call if I wasn't challenging you.
All right.
Okay. So you've learned quite a lot at the retreat, in your VIP group, through coaching calls. So I'm going to challenge you. You asked for balance because I have extreme behaviors. I want you to come up with 3 steps, and we're going to make it simple. I'm going to guide you. I'm here the entire time.
Okay.
I want you to come up with 3 steps, because we've talked about identifying the issue. We've talked about being able to explore and feel the emotion. with the conversation. We've talked about, being uncomfortable. We've talked about extreme behavior and even pinpointing why we've gone there because of distraction, because of avoidance. What are 3 steps, small steps you need to take to continue this pursuit to your version of balance, minus the extremes?
Okay. I'm writing this down, by the way, with bullet points. Small steps I need to take to get to my version of balance.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the first one. I'm going to give you the first one. The other 2 you got to come up with yourself because I'm going to give you a pass just because everybody's listening.
Okay. Go for it.
Why am I so afraid to take small steps to success? Why does it have to be extreme?
Are you asking me this question to answer now?
No, not to answer now.
Okay.
Girl, because we're going to be on here for like 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna write this down. And
Okay.
in addition to that, of course, you are going to post it in our VIP group.
Of course. Not a problem. You know me.
Yes. So being able to go ahead and identify what that's all about. And I want you to explore, like, where did I learn this from? And
I already know it's my dad. He's another extreme behavior.
Bingo.
We're twins.
Okay, so by answering that question, you're going to start to continue to see a lot of not only the extreme behavior, but the dysfunction in it and the patterns, which now that you'll be able to identify them, you'll also be able to challenge and break, which is the goal. All right. Step 2. So you have already identified it.
Okay.
What would be step 2? So I identified where I'm at, identified why the extreme behaviors benefit me and how they feel so comfortable. What would be step 2?
Oh, geez. I have no idea. You know how this goes with me. I have time. I have to have time to think about these things.
This is why we're doing this, because I want you to be uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh. Small steps that I need to take to get to my version of balance.
This is where your extreme behavior comes in. This is why I'm doing this.
Oh my goodness.
Because you're looking for the perfect answer versus...
I'm just looking for any answer at this point. I'm like, okay, it's 8:00, no coffee. Let's see. I honestly have no clue.
Okay. Well, let's take it to step 2 then.
Okay.
How have these extreme behaviors served me?
Well, obviously I can see the success right in front of me.
Yeah. It's instant gratification, instant validation.
Instant.
Just like the glass of wine, just like the donuts, just like the Oreo cookies and everything else. It's instant gratification.
Yeah, I'm the type that, when I start something, I was listening to your podcast with Melissa yesterday on my way home, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is like so me. Because she was saying about how, you look online and you see these six-week results and whatever, and I always have in the back of my head that the 50 pounds that I lost wasn't lost in 2 days.
No.
It's, it was 2 pounds this week, 5 pounds next week, 6 pounds the next, 0 the following,
Yeah.
And those are the reminders. That's why I go back to things that I know, because I experienced success in them. And I've also talked in the VIP group about this, even having others chime in as to what I can do to, get more answers to my weight loss and things like that. But I always want to know, like, is this going to give me good results?
Bingo.
I want to know what the end game is. Am I putting in all this effort for nothing to happen for me? I know my body, that type of talk. Yep. When you start a diet, it's like, I can only do Atkins, even though that was like a diet from centuries ago and they've improved on it. So, it's, for me, it's always that finding comfort in something that I knew worked.
Bingo.
So,
which then gave you your third step. What if this doesn't work?
Yeah. That's always the crappy part, because I just always feel like I've wasted all my time. Like I legit have cried in the Jenny Craig counseling area where they give you the food and they weigh you and all that. Because I just was like, I did everything I was supposed to do. Why don't I see the results? And the poor lady was like, oh, don't cry. I'm sure it's not the first time that it's happened, but you put your effort, you expect results. So
answer that even right now. If this wasn't to work, would you just go to the corner and then lay out and just like end, like everything would just end and you would just give up? Well, no, because you haven't given up today. You haven't given up yesterday or any of the other times you've attempted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. We completely fail to realize if this doesn't work, that's absolutely okay. It's okay because I'm going to find something else. And that's where willingness comes in. I have this strong desire for change, and I am willing to go ahead and lean into my insecurities. I am willing to challenge my fears because I'm going to do it. And I might need help. I might need somebody to guide me along the way. However, I want this so badly that I will do it. We get so lost in the, what if this doesn't work? Like, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? What if I do this and this happens and this happens? Okay, so let's go there. Let's go ahead and let's look at it right now. Versus just staying stuck in that mindset of distortion and catastrophizing. Because now we can look at it in the face and say, oh, well, if that doesn't work, then I take another step in that direction. However, I'm going to get there because look at how far I've come. And that's why in the beginning I asked you to give me your successes.
Yeah, there's when you ask us to post on the mirror challenges, I put a lot of thought into the things that I want to post for that week and what's going to help motivate me and get me to the next post-it,
Bingo.
Or mirror, little saying. And one of those things that I put up was, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was.
Yes.
So that to me is a small step win. It's not, you're not at your ultimate goal, but you're further than you were before. So that's okay.
And that's okay.
So even when you slide back, you're still further than you were before. So those are the things that just keep me going.
Boom. So guess what? This is homework. You have to put the girls in the VIP group. They already know. Anytime we're doing a coaching call, anytime I have a revelation or something happens, you're doing homework and you're posting it in the group. So I want to see this posted in the group.
Okay.
Alex, my last 2 questions.
Okay.
This is a question I ask everybody. What are you doing right now personally? What are you doing to live the life you want to live?
I'm actually taking myself out of my comfort zone. As crazy as that sounds, it's like, what other thing can I do to make myself completely uncomfortable? Let's go do that. And I don't know why, but it feels good to be out of my comfort zone because it's my chance to just be me. I don't have to be the number one. I don't have to excel. I can just be the normal me. Normal me is just silly and crazy and funny, no pressure situation. And really that's what I'm doing right now at this second is just really taking myself out of my comfort zone and, not needing or wanting to have that ultimate success with everything I do. I can suck at some stuff. That's really nice.
All right. Second question. What advice would you give to the mom who felt stressed and disconnected?
Ooh. I can relate. That's what I can say. And really, I feel like the disconnection part is partially you being disconnected to yourself.
Yeah.
I know, some people think that it's, being disconnected from your husband or disconnected from your mom or anybody else. But for me, it was disconnected from myself. And just, I would say that, just challenge yourself and and see what the good results will be. And it's going to take some time, but you're worth it.
Oh, right now when you said that, I got chills. Alex, thank you so very much for being on, because I know right now there are several women that can relate with you and identify with you. And I know they were taking notes.
I hope so. This was fun.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now and rate and review. Thank you, guys. Many women lose their own identity in the shadow of being a mom and a wife. We are a community of women who support each other. We leave perfectionism behind to become empowered and unapologetic. I know you're ready for the next steps. If you want to become empowered and unapologetic, get my free course, Unapologetically Me, over at empoweredandunapologetic.com/course. This podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regards to the subject matter covered. This is given with the understanding that neither the host, practice of the practice, or the guest are providing legal, mental health, or other professional information. If you need a professional, you should find one.
I know we've been taught that motherhood requires alcohol. I know we've been taught not to question our relationship with alcohol until we've lost everything. And I know we've been taught that if we do dare to examine our relationship with alcohol, we need to head straight to AA and declare ourselves an alcoholic who is powerless to alcohol forever. But what if all that isn't true? That's definitely not my story. I'm Suzanne, the host of the Sober Mom Life podcast. I'm an influencer who stopped drinking in January 2020, and since then, I've been telling the truth about motherhood, influencing, alcohol, and sobriety. If you suspect deep down that glass or 3 of wine at night might just be making motherhood harder, well, you're right. Come and join me as I chat with other sober and sober-curious moms. Let's laugh, cry, and normalize sobriety together, all while we reheat our coffee for the 4th time today.
Hey there, this is Casey McGuire Davidson, host of the Hello Someday podcast. I'm an ex-red wine girl turned life coach who helps busy women change their relationship with alcohol. I spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder while drinking a bottle of wine a night to unwind. In the Hello Someday podcast, my goal is to teach you the tried and true secrets of creating and living a life you don't want to escape from. Each week, I'll bring you tools, lessons, and conversations to help you drink less and live more. I'll teach you how to navigate our drinking-obsessed culture without a buzz and how to turn the decision to stop drinking from your worst-case scenario to the best decision of your life. You can find new episodes of the Hello Someday podcast every Thursday, wherever you listen, and I hope you check it out. Hey there, this is Casey McGuire Davidson, host of the Hello Someday podcast. I'm an ex-red wine girl turned life coach who helps busy women change their relationship with alcohol. I spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder while drinking a bottle of wine a night to unwind. In the Hello Someday podcast, my goal is to teach you the tried and true secrets of creating and living a life you don't want to escape from. Each week, I'll bring you tools, lessons, and conversations to help you drink less and live more. I'll teach you how to navigate our drinking-obsessed culture without a buzz and how to turn the decision to stop drinking from your worst-case scenario to the best decision of your life. You can find new episodes of the Hello Someday podcast every Thursday, wherever you listen, and I hope you check it out. Hey there, this is Casey McGuire Davidson, host of the Hello Someday podcast. I'm an ex-red wine girl turned life coach who helps busy women change their relationship with alcohol. I spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder while drinking a bottle of wine a night to unwind. In the Hello Someday podcast, my goal is to teach you the tried and true secrets of creating and living a life you don't want to escape from. Each week, I'll bring you tools, lessons, and conversations to help you drink less and live more. I'll teach you how to navigate our drinking obsessed culture without a buzz and how to turn the decision to stop drinking from your worst case scenario to the best decision of your life. You can find new episodes of the Hello Someday podcast every Thursday, wherever you listen. And I hope you check it out.
It's easy to blame ourselves for our struggles with alcohol. We see people around us being able to control their drinking without any consequences, yet no matter what we try, we can't seem to figure it out for ourselves. My name is Jillian Teets, and I am the host of the Sober Powered podcast, where I use my biochemistry background to explain the latest research in addiction and help you understand both why you drink the way you do and how to develop the skills and mindset you need to find freedom from alcohol. I discuss topics like why we think about our drinking 24/7, why we have no off switch, and why we crave alcohol. If you're struggling with your drinking or you know someone who is, then I hope that you will check out the Sober Powered podcast. New episodes every Friday. See you there. It's easy to blame ourselves for our struggles with alcohol. We see people around us being able to control their drinking without any consequences, yet no matter what we try, we can't seem to figure it out for ourselves. My name is Jillian Teets, and I am the host of the Sober Powered podcast, where I use my biochemistry background to explain the latest research in addiction and help you understand both why you drink the way you do and how to develop the skills and mindset you need to find freedom from alcohol. I discuss topics like why we think about our drinking 24/7, why we have no off switch, and why we crave alcohol. If you're struggling with your drinking or you know someone who is, then I hope that you will check out the Sober Powered podcast. New episodes every Friday. See you there.